Okay, so this screencast will walk us through a couple of examples, things that I would walk through if we were in class together. And the first one says that the sum of the angles of a triangle being equal to 180 is equivalent to the Euclidean parallel postulate. And remember what this means. This means that one statement implies the other, and the other statement implies the one. So let's do the easy way first. Let's assume the Euclidean parallel postulate and show that the sum of the measures of the angles of triangle ABC has to be 180. And this is actually the way we teach teachers to teach this to teenagers. Given triangle ABC, construct L through C parallel to AB. We know that there's only one such line by the Euclidean parallel postulate. Choose D and E on L on either side of C and with D, how do I want to say this? I want to put D on the left. So with D on the opposite side of AC as B. I want the picture to look like this. So here's what we know. We know that the measure of angle DCA plus the measure of angle ACB plus the measure of angle ECB is 180, basically by the linear pair theorem. But we have EPP, which means we have the converse of AIA. And that means that if I have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, the alternate interior angles are congruent. So the measure of angle DCA is the measure of angle CAB, and the measure of angle ACB is exactly what we think it is, and the measure of angle ECB is the same as the measure of angle CBA, and we got it. This is exactly how we teach young people to do this. The other way is way more complicated. The other way, we assume that the sum of the measures of the angles of the triangle is 180, and we show that EPP holds, and we're going to actually do this by contrapositive, which means we're going to assume that EPP does not hold and show that there is a triangle whose angle sum is not 180. So here's the setup. You have some line L, and you have some point P that's not on L. We can do the double perpendicular construction. We can drop a perpendicular to L. Point Q is the foot of that perpendicular, and we can draw line M that is perpendicular to PQ. So that gives us one parallel. Now, because we're proceeding by contrapositive, we assume that there is another line that passes through point P and is also parallel to line L. We assume that. And we show that there has to be some triangle whose angle measures add up to less than 180. So here's what we do. We pick a point S on line M prime on the Q side of line M. So if this line is parallel to line L, some of it is on the L side of M and some of it's on the other side of M. We pick a point S on the Q side of line M. And we pick a point T on line L, and we pick that point T such that when we draw this angle, the measure of angle QTP is less than the measure of angle SPR. Where's R? So we pick R to be on the S side of PQ and also on line M. So basically, we want to pick a point T so that the measure of angle QTP is less than the measure of angle SPR. How can we do that? Well, angle SPR is some fixed number because this line's fixed. Now, if we take this point and we drag it forever and ever and ever, it makes angle QTP smaller and smaller and smaller. So we just drag T out far enough that this angle measure is less than that one. So just for the sake of keeping track of things, the measure of angle RPT plus the measure of angle TPQ plus the measure of angle PQT is 180. This and this is 90. That's 90. Together they add up to 180. But check that out. That's a right angle in this triangle. That angle's up here. And we know that the measure of QTP, which is this one here, is less than SPR. I'm so sorry. That's an S. So now what do we know? SPQ is bigger than TPQ. So if we replace SPQ with TPQ, this equals turns to less than. And this angle is less than this angle, which is less than this, which is less, that's the deal. And so when we put angle QTP there, this is less than that by assumption. This is less than that by between this. Those are the same. That's the angle sum for triangle PQT. So we have a triangle whose angle sum is less than 180. And that's what happens if there is a second parallel. So if APP fails, then the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is not always 180. And so the contrapositive of this statement is true, and so this statement is true. There's a whole lot of things that you think are true that are distinctly Euclidean. I was going to talk about this, but I proved it in a previous video. I was going to talk about this, but we proved it in a previous video. I will talk about this because we probably should. A rhombus is a quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. We're supposed to prove that its diagonals are perpendicular. So nothing terribly difficult about this. right? I mean, there's nothing terribly difficult about this. We know that triangle RHM is congruent to triangle OHM. It's also congruent to triangle OMH. And so all of these are congruent. And so triangle RM, place where the diagonals cross, is congruent to triangle OM, place where the diagonals cross by side angle side. And so these two angles are congruent. But if those two angles are congruent and they are supplementary, they are right angles. And if these are right angles, then the lines that form them are perpendicular. That's your game. So here's the important thing for me to bring up here. There's a lot of things that you think are true about a rhombus, and many of them depend on the Euclidean parallel postulate. You are in great shape if you always think of a rhombus as a quadrilateral with four congruent sides. And if it makes you feel better to think about that, I draw rhombi like this in neutral geometry, because it prevents me from thinking some of the things are true that are not true. So those are the couple of examples that I would have worked out if we were in class together. Hope things are well with you and yours. Until we see each other.